Mr. President, with the indulgence of the sponsor, may I just ask a few clarificatory questions?
Certainly, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I also would like to apologize because I didn't really catch the entire speech. Actually, I didn't catch most of it except for the picture of the stadium that was built for the Southeast Asian Games. I was being distracted by the chair of the Committee on Finance and the chair of the Committee on Higher Education with their stories about some people. And they put on the record that they are still laughing as I speak. Anyway, on that note, Mr. Chair, so because I cannot ask, I cannot go into detail, no, because I did not know that Her Honor would be taking up this subject. But the project that Her Honor has flashed on the screen is very close to my heart. I am an athlete. I am also a national team player in my youth. And I was there during, I don't think I was there during the, what do you call that? When they, ano ba tawag doon yung corner? Groundbreaking ba yun? When they put the first, I wasn't there then, but I was there when there were only beams, and I continually checked on it in the days to come. Mr. President, this is a world-class stadium built in record time with the advice no less than, if I'm not mistaken, and I can check for the record, World Bank and or ADB on how to finance and how to do this project. Mr. President, the Southeast Asian Games would not have been as successful as it was if we had only the dilapidated stadium of Rizal Memorial of Ultra. May I ask Her Honor if she has seen the place? Because the national track and field team, when they visited it around November, not sure, September, November, before the Southeast Asian Games commenced, they went there for the first time. Does Her Honor know that they cried when they saw the stadium? They cried when they had the opportunity to run on the turf. Bakit? Kasi doon sila nagpa-practice sa napakabulok na stadium. Ganon ang kalagayan. That's how we treat our athletes. Ilan lang ang Manny Pacquiao ng Pilipinas who has had the opportunity to raise himself and have sponsors. But not all sports are like boxing and basketball that have a strong following. Many of these athletes will never even be remembered. But on that day that we won the gold medal, the entire Southeast Asian countries gave their due respect to the Filipino athletes. I am embarrassed that we cannot even honor that. I am embarrassed that we choose to make a political issue out of a world-class facility. Kaya tuloy, wala nang mag-aabalang magpatayo ng matitino at kahanga-hangang mga infrastructure dito sa Pilipinas. Dahil magpatayo ka lang ng maganda, sasabihin na sa'yo na may kalokohan ka. So paano? Puro bulok na lang tayo para walang pumansin. Ganon. Paano magiging white elephant? Madam Sponsor, do you even know what are the conditions of our sports facilities? Para sabihin mong yung world class na yon magiging white elephant? Hindi nyo ba alam na pinasa natin ang National Academy of Sports? And doon pag-aaral, doon magte-training ang mga bata natin, mga future Manny Pacquiao. Paano naging white elephant? Sana naman mag-ingat naman kayo sa mga paratang nyo. Dahil yan na naman ang i-headlines. Di man lang natin binigyan ng konting parangal, konting respeto ang mga national athletes. Na alam nyo ba, kung hindi dahil sa bayanihan to, hindi pa magkakaroon ng allowance. Hindi thanks to PSC yan, ha? thanks to Speaker Alan Cayetano, Congressman Bambol Tolentino, and Senator Sani Angara. So hinahalo ko yung mga mukha ng mga athletes na to dun sa tinatawag niyang white elephant. Kasi that is the only reason why you put up such a structure for people. In this case, for young athletes. So I cannot separate their faces and their names from the structure that you now want people to cast doubt upon. Again, I do not have the details. Wala akong hawak na papel, but I have to stand up for BCDA, for the architects, for the engineers, for every single construction worker that worked overtime. Madam Sponsor, alam nyo ba 24/7 nagtrabaho yon para makadeliver tayo sa Southeast Asian Games? Di ba mas kahihiyan yun na nag-umpisa Southeast Asian Games tapos hindi natapos yon? Nanood ho ba kayo? Nandun ako, nanood ako, nanalo tayo ng mga kung ano-anong event. Yung pole vaulter natin, he claimed the gold. Si EJ Obiena, he's going to compete, he was supposed to compete in the Olympics. Pero hindi natuloy yung Olympics. At least, nagka-Southeast Asian gold medal siya, di ba? At least nanalo siya in his own country. Napanood siya ng tatay niya, na coach niya. Ganon ang kalagayan ng mga athletes. Madam Sponsor. Yung nanalo ng marathon, taga Cagayan de Oro siya. Umiiyak siya nung nakita ko siya after niya. Hindi niya akalain mananalo siya. Alam niyo bang na-lockdown siya dito for how many months? Hindi nakauwi. O baka sabihin niyo irrelevant na yun. Hindi irrelevant yun. Kasama yon sa mga sakripisyo ng mga athlete. Tapos ngayon, ang kaisa-isang nagawa natin for them, binibigyan pa natin ng mali siya. Kaya yan ang mangyayari sa bansa natin. Puro mali siya tayo, puro paghuhusga.
Mr. President, may I respond?
Now, and yes, gentlewoman. Thank you, Mr. President. Indeed, if the good colleague had caught more or most of my privileged speech, it probably would not have caused the good gentle lady as much distress. Maganda naman talaga yung mga facilities. Nobody is arguing against that. And sinuportahan ko rin yung itinayo natin by law na paaralan para sa ating mga atleta. World class nga naman yung mga facilities kahit tignan lang natin sa mga litrato. Pero baka mas world class pa kung binid out according to law. Yung mga itinanong ko, hindi pa akusasyon pero sinabi ko mga bagay na dapat alamin. We're not merely content of news reports or headlines. They have been, Mr. President, already the subject of opinions by the Government Corporate Council, by the Office of the GCG, the Government Commission on GOCCs, and very importantly, Mr. President, the Commission on Audit, na lagi naman natin ginagamit na gabay para sa pag-oversee ng tamang at optimal na paggamit ng government funds at pati sa pagsisiyasat ng ating mga proposed budget tulad ng ginagawa natin sa ngayon. Maganda talaga yung facilities, but does this excuse the possibility of cutting corners, which I repeat, Mr. President, my speech was not the first to raise questions about, pero may aktual na mga opinion at observation bago sa araw na ito ng COA, ng GCG, at ng Office of the Government OGCC. And the COA findings themselves were adverse, Mr. President. Kaya it behooves us to consider the possibility of looking into them. Ang aking mga tanong na iniraise ay walang pagbabawas sa pagbibigay halaga natin sa ating mga atleta mula pambansa hanggang lokal. hindi binabawi ang ating suporta sa education and athletic support sa ating mga athletes at student athletes. Ito ay panay tungkol sa inobserbahan ba o hindi ang mga ayon sa batas dapat na inobserbahan kung totoong joint venture yan o hindi ba dapat sa ilalim ng Build, Operate, and Transfer Law. Kung kaya't mas mahigpit na bidding at pag-iwas na ito ay naging bang isang BS loan. At pati yung tanong ko po tungkol sa ito ba ay magiging white elephant lamang, it was precisely in the body of my speech, coached in the form of a question. Kasi ayaw natin na ang ganitong world class or magandang facilities ay mahulog na lang sa ganyang status, lalo na naging stage na siya ng pagkamit ng glory o karangalan ng ating mga atleta. So ito po, Mr. President, ay mga tanong na maaaring unang beses ni-raise natin dito sa loob ng Senado, pero nauna na yung mga constitutional at executive bodies sa ganitong klaseng mga opinion at obserbasyon. And I think it is well within the mandate of the Senate to also consider looking into these questions, Mr. President. Mr. President, like I said,
I do not have the details. Wala ho akong panahon sa ngayon na aralin yon dahil I am sponsoring CREATE and I am the Senior Vice Chair of the Committee on Finance. Pero pag pinagpatuloy pa ni Senator Risa sa ganitong panahon, na katulad nga ng sinabi ko, yung mga athletes na yan, na lockdown, hindi nakauwi, 10 buwan, walang allowance, 10 buwan, walang allowance. This is their livelihood. And you know, the only thing they have left is their pride. So when we do things like that, we slap them in the face. That is what we do, Mr. President. And when Her Honor chooses to use words like white elephant, you make the people who bother listening to us, if there are still people who bother to listen to us, the more that they question our judgment, the more that they question the things that we do to make those who need more in life, to give them a better life. And that is exactly what that project was all about. Ba't kakainin ba natin yon? Hindi. So, ba't tinayo yun? Kasi nga may purpose. We were in line to sponsor, to host the Southeast Asian Games. Was there enough time to go through all the steps? I don't know. But I am sure there's a logical reason because the president of BCDA is one of those persons that is highly respected in this government. He was pulled in to assist the IATF with the testing, the capacity building, putting up quarantine centers. Hindi mag-aabala si Vince Dizon na mag-cut short lang ng corners para lang batikusin ng ganito. Ginawa niya yon para patayuan ng may pagmamalaki namang stadium ang Pilipinas. So I leave it at that, Mr. President, but I sincerely regret, inasmuch as we all have the right to stand up here for anything that we want to talk about. We do. Kaya pwede, lahat tayo may right. Pero I sincerely regret na nagagamit ang floor natin para sirain ang napakagandang pangalan ng napakagandang mga proyekto na tinayo para lang naman bigyan ng kahalagahan ang ibang sektor ng ating bansa na normally hindi napapansin. They are normally training, like I said, umiyak sila nung tumuntong sila sa tarp nung track oval na yon. Umiyak sila. Sabi nila, wow, ang lambot. Sabi ko, ba't saan ba kayo nagte-training? Ma'am, dun sa track oval na sira-sira na, sa Pangasinan. Ha? Paano kayo nakarating ng Pangasinan? Wala na ho kami mapag-trainingan sa Metro Manila. And then their facilities, nakatira na rin ako sa Rizal Memorial. As I said, I was a national team athlete. Yung tinirahan ko sa Rizal Memorial noong 1983, awa ng Diyos, ganun pa rin ang itsura. Kung hindi pa natin pinatayo, ang track oval sa University of the Philippines, which is open to all, inabot ng mga anak ko, 30 years after I graduated, the same track and football field ng UP. O so siguro si UP, sinundan nila by the letter every single step. Awa ng Diyos, inabot ng 4 na taon. Nag-graduate na yung anak ko, never niya na nakitang yung field na yon. That is how infrastructure projects in the Philippines go along. So if you don't want our people to dream, if we don't take a stand and give honor to what should be honored, the people who did right, then we'll just watch our country crumble because we're just going to be finger pointing every step of the way. And I take offense as an athlete, as a mother of athletes, as a mentor and as a friend of all these athletes, whose sole pride was to be able to see such a structure built in their honor, questioned and castigated in this manner. Salamat po.
Mr. President, hindi ginagamit, but we take the floor to hold people to account. No more, no less. At yung ganyang prinsipyo ay niraise na rin ng previous opinions and observations, as I said, ng GCG, ng OGCC at ng COA. And speaking of, was there enough time to do things by the book, to be sure not to cut corners, to observe all the processes under the law? Sigurado, Mr. President, there would have been time. Kasi ayon sa timeline, August 16, 2017 pa lang, ang DCDA ay unang tumanggap ng unsolicited proposal mula sa MPD Capital Berhad for the construction of the National Government Administrative Center o NGAC in New Clark City. So ibig sabihin po, Mr. President, a full 2 years bago na-consummate itong proyekto, there would have been all the time para siguruhin na nasusunod ang mga batas which I have cited in my questions. Yung mga batas tulad ng Build, Operate, and Transfer Law na may kinalaman sa tamang bidding at hindi yung i-label itong proyekto na isang joint venture. Yung batas nga tungkol sa bidding at procurement o new procurement law. Yung mga batas sa ating banking sector na dahil sa ating kasaysayan ay nagsisiguro na hindi behest law ang posibleng makuha sa ganitong mga proseso. At yung ibang mga batas na nagsisiguro na tama at optimally ginagamit natin ang public funds para sa patuloy na pagtataguyod ng ating public infrastructure, including sports infrastructure. So even on that point of time, Mr. President, which the gentle lady mentioned, I would surmise certainly there would have been enough time to do things by the book, observe all the nitty-gritty nitong mga batas na may kinalaman sa ganitong mga proyekto at proseso, Mr. President.